Hey everybody, Comp 26 back here for another review tonight. I'm continuing my series of reviews for Joyner's hot pepper powders. Tonight I will be doing a 7-pot Rennie. Never had a 7-pot Rennie before. Pretty cool looking pot. I like the way it looks. It's very, very pimply. The bottom of it almost looks similar to some variations of brain strains you see. You got kind of the little lobes there. Not really like a brain, but pretty cool nonetheless. I have no clue about what the heat levels of these are typically supposed to be like. I do know that I believe that the seeds were distributed by RMAC of the hot pepper forums. He got them from, I believe, a fellow friend. I believe that his name was Rennie, and hence he got 7-pot Rennie. And his friend got them from a source in Trinidad. I think that's how it went down. If I'm wrong, please correct me in the comments, but I believe that's how it went. So RMAC got it from his friend Rennie, who got it from Trinidad. And so RMAC, he's a member on the hot pepper forums and as well as some other chili forums, but I believe he's the one mainly responsible for getting this seed spread around the community. But nevertheless, again, 7-pot Rennie. Got this from Joyner's Hot Pepper Powders. It's heatmadesimple.com. As always, I'll have his information in his website information in the credits as well as the description of the video. So we're going to cut this guy open. I'll give you a really quick look at it again, really quick. Nice looking pod. Bottom of it there. I'll give you a quick look, and now I'm going to cut it open. We'll see what it looks like on the inside. Very nice. I do see a few oil droplets on it. Actually quite a few oil droplets. There's a decent amount of oil in there. I don't know if you can see it. They're not quite as pronounced as the chocolate Maruga #2 that I did last night. But we'll have a look on the inside here. You all might be able to see some oil droplets. I think you can see a few of them there. Very good looking pot on the inside. Not a whole lot of placenta. Does have quite a few seeds. This is another variety since I've never had this one before and relatively unknown to me for the most part. I mean, I've heard the name, but I don't know much about it. I would think I am going to try to keep some of the seeds for this and try to grow it out maybe next year. So let me put the camera back up here and I'll take a few seeds out and we will get back to the review. Ooh, shooting the seeds. That's interesting. Flying seeds. I've got more than that I cut out of there. Come on. Pop out of there, you crazy things. As far as these being a stable variety, I believe they are. Mainly because I believe these have been known to grow in the wild in Trinidad, I think I read. Not a very strong smell to it. It smells somewhat sweet. Very faint hint of that typical chinent smell, but it's not a very strong smell to it. Alright, well, let's see how it goes. Hang on, I'm trying to get the seed out of my teeth here. It's a mild sweetness to it, not incredibly sweet. Actually a pretty mild flavor altogether. Don't get a very strong pronounced flavor of really anything. All melded together pretty well. Not much, not bitter. Don't really get any bitterness out of it. While I was chewing it, I did notice some heat building up. I do feel it in the back of my throat right now, mainly is where it's concentrating. Still got seeds in my teeth. As opposed to the type of burn last night, where it was more of a stinging needles, this feels hot. This feels quite warm. Let's see. I should feel a little heat in my chest from swallowing that. Don't feel that too often. Again, the burn's mainly concentrated in my throat. It's a slow builder so far. Slow builder, but it's pretty immediate heat up front, and then it's slowly working its way up. Starting to get a little nose run happening. Eyes are starting to get a little glossy. Yeah, it's tough to really say much about the flavor there. It was so mild. So I'm not really sure how to describe it. Very mild in the flavor department. Mildly sweet, mildly chinency, mild 7-pot flavor in there. It's very mild altogether. The heat's pretty strong so far. Again, really strong in the back of the throat. Still building. Starting to get me sweating a little bit. Haven't sweated in a while with the pod, so it's got me sweating a little bit. Wipe my brow here. Overall, pretty pleasant. Pretty pleasant flavor-wise and heat-wise, because the heat's different. It's just different in the fact and the way it's making me react here. Like I said, I don't normally sweat a whole lot from pods. Throat's really strong right now. Very, very strong. Very good heat. I'm gonna wipe my eyes here. Blow my nose. Starting to feel an endorphin rush kicking in here. Well, now this is different. Headache's starting here, not on this side. It's on this side this time. Very weird what's going on there. First time it's ever started right there. It's always right there. But no, it's starting off here. Starting off there and actually moving towards the front of my, all the way across the front. I'm getting a lot stronger reaction off of this than what the heat would suggest. Because this doesn't seem like it's nearly as strong as the one last night. Excuse me. But it's causing me to react in much the way that the one last night did. One notable exception is I'm not salivating like crazy. Probably because I feel hardly any burn in the front of my mouth. It's all in the back of my throat. Let's see. I think we've about peaked. Still a very, very strong burn on the back of my throat. Very strong. Overall, I'd say it's a really good pod. It's a good all-around pod. In terms of powders, with it having such a mild flavor to it, it would actually probably go very, very well for a powder, because you don't, there's nothing really that could impart a whole lot of flavor into a dish that you're using it with. So it could very well be a really, really good powder. I like it. I like this pod a lot. I'd call it a medium to high heat, maybe a tier 2 level heat so far. Nothing that's blowing me away right now, but it is a very strong heat. Very, very strong. Very, very good. It's starting to go down already, so not terribly long of a lasting heat. So yeah, good pod. I think it make a really good powder. Stomach is really not burning at all right now. I wrote in the description of my last review that an hour after my last review, my stomach really started burning, really started getting cramps. Lasted for about 2 hours. Didn't throw up, but there were times when I kind of thought it might happen, but it didn't. It wasn't that bad. But yeah, the one last night, that tore my stomach up pretty good later on. Hopefully I won't have any issues like that this time. We'll see. So far, there's zero stomach burn at all. But yeah, I'd say we're about 3/4 of the total intensity, of peak intensity. So it is working its way down. Excuse me. Actually, my nose. It's not my eyes, it's my nose. I'm gonna figure out the right thing to use. Yeah. Again, it's making me react a lot stronger than what the burn would suggest to me. Not sure why that is. Maybe it's the different capsaicinoids in this pod versus the one I had last night. Who knows? Yeah, eyes watering now. But in my very, very first reviews that I've done, when I first started getting into doing video reviews, I did note that the 7 pots tend to give me a stronger reaction in comparison to the actual burn that I feel. So maybe it's the capsaicinoids inside of your 7 pots that does that to me. You know, different capsaicinoids will cause different reactions and make you feel different types of pain and in different locations. So maybe the predominant capsaicinoids in 7 pots just make my body react a lot stronger. I don't know. I want to stop rambling here. The heat is about half of where it was, so not very strong anymore. So again, very good pod, medium to high heat, mild flavor to it. I think it would make a very, very, very good powder. So tomorrow night I'll be back on again. Either tomorrow night, I may do it tomorrow morning. I don't know. The next review, I'm not sure what I'm going to do for the next review. Guess it'll just be a surprise. So stay tuned and figure out what's next. See you guys.